Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of TriFig. But really what I wanted to do was go over the next kind of photo tutorial that we're going to do. Now I messed up making The Conjuring. I accidentally filmed the whole thing in 4K and my laptop continually crashed every time I tried to open it and render the footage. So we're skipping that tutorial and I'm going straight to Evil Dead today. So I love both versions of the movie, Sam Raimi and Fede Alvarez. Both are exceptionally awesome. And today what I wanted to do was just go over the kind of cheaply made diorama I tried making for the first time. Now it's not super great, it's not the best, but it's kind of cool. So what I was focusing on today is the cellar scene, and the whole diorama made here is not too bad. The chimney and the floor bases and the background were all textures made in Photoshop using stock images that I just kind of put together, added some paint, colored them in, added some shadows, mixed them in to make them more tiled. And then for the chimney, what I did was I actually drew out a little plan for kind of a fold, and then I just glued them to cardboard boxes. Now I'll go over the kind of box that I used a little bit later on. But pretty much the chains I'm using from from Mutsu. I think I have a couple of hers. So I'm using the chains for the cellar door locking, and I've also used Elmer's glue and some staples to keep the locks in place. The hinges were from a wooden box I got at Michael's for like $1 or $2. As for the containers in the back, those are actually from a NECA BioShock Big Daddy, and I think count pretty cool. It adds a little more like water heaters for the cabin. So I wanted to do that. As for the door, it does open. Go ahead, I'm just using some sticky putty in here to keep the locks in. And I did add some base right here to make it look like an actual cellar door going. And on the inside, it's just like a sheet of paper, and that I build. So we built doing this in Photoshop, and it's just a three-dimensional ladder I put together using some of the same textures from the wood panels for the diorama, and then I just kind of shaded them going backwards so it looks like a staircase. It's all dusty now. But that's what it was. So I thought it made it look a little bit more cool. Make it look like an actual step, so you can see right there. Alright, so for the photo today that I'm going to do, we are going to be using Megumi. She's been a little bit down lately, so I figure why not, we'll go ahead and take some photos of her. So that's the basic rundown of the diorama here. I really hope you liked it. Let me actually go grab a box to show you, and then we'll jump into a couple of the pictures that I've taken using the diorama in the later part of the video. So let me go grab a box and we'll go on from there. Book of the Dead. Clock 2. Berada. Nendo. Kanda. Hey, you okay? You alright? Jesus! Today's photo, we'll just be using some basic stuff. I've got my A6000 with a 30mm macro. I'm also going to be using the kit lens that comes with the camera if you buy it new. Kit lens is pretty good and it's super wide, so we're going to go ahead and use that for some wider shots. Here, got Union, and I've got Megumi and her little crazed face again. We're also going to be using various parts to get what we want, including one of these other little shocked faces going on right here too. And we've also got some gem. Now the gem is important because that's going to be our guts, to be our blood. We're going to use a spoon right here and some sticks so that we can apply it to smaller areas. And of course we're also going to need some inspiration. So we've got the original Evil Dead. We've got Child's Play playing in the background while I use and take my photos. And it just helps so we can get some ideas going and the whole project started. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and just reveal the door. And we'll go ahead and get started. Now, I did notice with Megumi that once I put her into the cellar, she is a little big. We ended up just having to dismember her, take apart different things to her hair so that we can get her in the cellar, close the door, and set up the photo like this. Next up is the smuckers, which is just going to be our blood and guts. We're going to just go ahead and use a spoon to smear around our opening of the cellar, because that's where most of the blood would have been when they dragged the body in. Here's a little bit of a close-up as I'm adding the goop around her, and I am picking it up around her head and just using a toothpick to go in for final additions and to get some coloring in there so she looks a little bit more bloody. And we'll set up, take the shot. We're doing it just like normal, manual focus. We got a low ISO to keep the noise down, and here's the picture. Now, of course, the picture is set up after being finished with Lightroom. This is the next photo I did. I decided to go a little closer in and just have her look like she's clawing out while she's gonna do, we're gonna get you. So this is what I got from that one, and I took a wider shot so that I could use for thumbnail. After that, I did go in, so what you're seeing right now are some of the raw images, and right here are the finished ones after applying some contrast, detail, and getting them to look a lot more gritty, a lot more dark, and kind of messy. And that's what we got with the remake for Evil Dead, and that's what I really liked about it. So that's what I was shooting for on these images. As you can see, I'm just reapplying the same settings from my other shots into some other ones, trying to get different settings and different images going around. I really like this one, but what I ended up doing is using the same settings on two versions of the photos. One where Union is in focus and one where the hand is in focus, so that I could go into Photoshop with some animation tools and create this little moving image. So as for the blood, I used a brush set that I found online, and we're using that on a new layer to just kind of spray some blood on Megumi, make it look a little bit more bloody, more engaged in the scene. And then we're just going to use some of the layer tools to kind of blend the image better in, and that way we can apply it to the rest of our pictures, have some more fun, and we'll end up with our final set of photos. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this fun little video going over my diorama and just some shots for the Evil Dead tutorial. Let me know what other movie you'd like to see coming up in the future. Wanted to do one every other week, but I got too busy, so now I'm just going to do maybe one a month. So we'll see what we shoot for Thanksgiving, maybe Silence of the Lambs, I don't know. And then we'll see what we do for Christmas, which will probably just be being Krampus or a spooky version of A Christmas Story. But go ahead and let me know if you suggest any good spooky movies for me to tackle and make some maybe sets and shoot some photos. Until next time, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, you know what to do, check out my Instagram, and we'll see you next time right here on TriFig. Bye-bye.